in 2011? Would you stretch it over 2 summers and not just one?
Well, I think I've got to make that decision, when I get there. But I'm just giving you kind of a philosophically. I don't want to put us back in the same position.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that to New York City ever again, Donnie. That can't happen here.
Yeah, I think that from here on out, it's going to be cap management for every team in the league, and we got to become part of that. In other words, we've got to approach things that way.
Do you think, before we get to Gallo, do you think McGrady still has something left, and I mean something where he can actually help a team win a lot of games, important games?
Maybe not in the role he used to have. And I wouldn't judge him right now because I knew when he came in here it was going to take him time to get his body back to where, he was a big-time player. But I do think that he can be part of a solution. I really do. Because he's, one of these guys that, when he has a game where we haven't had a game the night before and he's rested, basically he does things so easy, even though his athleticism isn't where it used to be. I think he can be part of a very good team, and he wants to be. So, I do. I think he can. Maybe he can't be the guy, but he can be one of the top guys on your team.
And you think that he would embrace that mentally? No, that's tough for an athlete to do, Donnie. You know that.
I think he can, at least by what he's saying.
Okay.
And I believe what he's saying. He the way he's come in our locker room and everything has been, very good.
Any regrets a little bit too strong, but I guess we'll throw it out there. Any regret with the Jordan Hill move, seeing Jordan play recently against the Knicks? He looked pretty good.
Well, I've always thought he was going to be good, from day one. And I read in one of our papers that after the first preseason practice, he was a bust. And I'm thinking, this kid is going to be a very good player. Yeah, when I was doing the trade, I had a lot of regrets about trading Jordan Hill because he was young. I know he'll be a good player the same way I kind of knew that Tony will be a good player. But what it really came down to was balancing, okay, if I keep him, I'm not going to have room. I think I need the room to be able to go out there and bring in multiple players, and I think that may be important. But I didn't like doing it. It was the one thing in that deal that I didn't like doing. But, every deal you do, if it's a good deal, basically it's going to be painful. You got to give up something to get something. And in this case, it was not another player, so to speak. It was the room we could get from that.
That's Donnie.
I'm
sorry, Donnie. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Less tangible than, we got this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got you. I understand. Donnie Walsh, the Knicks President, right here on the Brandon Tierney Show. How would you evaluate the job of Mike D'Antoni this year? And more importantly, how do you think he would evaluate the job that he's done?
Well, neither Mike nor I want to lose. And I've said this before. I support Mike totally. I love him as a coach. And I don't think you can judge him at this point because he hasn't been given the talent to become a coach that, you can just go down there and say, oh, this guy can coach. He's trying to win games against teams that have more talent. And in some cases, he's doing it. And that shows what kind of a coach he is. So, to me, the last thing in the world that I would do is to put the blame on him. Because there's no coach in this league that can come in undermanned, so to speak, and turn that into a winning situation. There just isn't.
I would agree with that for the most part, Donnie. The only thing that I would challenge respectfully is that, and a lot of this goes back to Tony Douglas, and the treatment, for lack of a better term, shown towards Darko Milicic, who I thought could have helped you guys out this year. A big, sturdy 7-footer. He could block some shots. There's obviously a hole in the middle. I was surprised that Mike didn't use him a little bit more. I thought he maybe stuck with Duhan too long. I really do think that there were things that he could have done to put a few more wins on the board. That's my personal opinion. You don't think that's fair?
That's what makes sports great. Everybody can have their opinion, but I think if you look at it, he had guys that had to get minutes that were important for them to get minutes, and so he had 8, 9 guys he was trying to get all the minutes for, and guys got left out, and they didn't like it, and so it became a little bit of a controversy at the time. But that's what happens when you don't have all the spots covered. You could do a little better than you did, but it's not going to make a gigantic difference. And so you got to weigh that against the development of, let's say, Gallinari, who's taken up one of those spots. So, I don't think you can put the blame. I'm told if there's any blame, it's on me for not filling all the spots up.
And let's expand a little bit more on Gallo as we wrap it up. That's Donnie Walsh, president of the Knicks, Brandon Tierney Show. Hey, listen, we knew he could shoot. He's 6'10". He's a fluid athlete. Donnie, he has shown toughness I didn't think he possessed. What is the upside for how good could Danilo Gallinari be?
I think he's just scratched the surface. I really do. I think a lot of it's going to depend on the work he puts forth in the summer. But if he can get his body in better shape, meaning stronger, if he can use the experience he's had in the NBA, seeing how guys are playing, which I see him doing. I mean, he's improving as we look at him. Because the way he's going to be played in the NBA, because he's a great shooter, he's going to have to be able to drive to the goal. He's going to have to add a medium game. I think he can become a much better rebounder. The area he surprised me is defense. He's a much better defender than I expected him to be. I mean, when you can put him on point guards and you can put him on small forwards, and then he can go play a power forward, that's showing me something. And as you said before, a large part of the reason is he's a very tough kid. And that's showing it. And what I also like is I'm reading from the players he's playing. They think he's tough. They're surprised at how defensive, how much better defensively, and that he tries defensively. And they all kind of give the thing that, this guy's going to be a good player.
Donnie, always generous with your time. Appreciate the State of the Knick address. That's the Knicks boss, Donnie Walsh. Thanks a lot, Donnie.
Thank you.
You bet. Absolutely. Donnie Walsh.